What's up, everybody? Welcome. It is Friday. That means it's a nerd day.
I was just curious, is the countdown something for us or for the audience to know that we're getting ready to go live?
It's the audience. It goes live. It's like a lead in.
Yeah, I know. I know how it works. I'm just wondering if you do it, who you do it for, because nobody's out there right now.
Thanks, Andrew.
But I'm sure they'll come eventually.
This is a great way to start a Friday.
Yeah, awesome.
This is a great, let's just, here we go. Hey, Dusty. How are you? Have you had a good day today? He took himself away. I didn't have anything to do with that. He took himself away. No.
Why'd you kick me? I didn't do anything yet.
Just yet. Green Room has memories, sir.
So I one exciting thing I did today is I set up the drivers for my tablet for my new computer. So I actually have my tablet set up. So I'm one more step closer to getting back to work on Hero. So
Awesome. Right on.
Exciting. Very exciting.
Very cool. When do you start officially? Or do you know yet?
When do I start working on Hero again?
Mm-hmm.
About 3 days ago. But I only got my tablet set up today.
Okay.
So
Right on.
Yep.
Excellent. Good. So that means we know you redid that room because the garbage is all now on shelving. That's good. And and you did, and the did you actually finish the comic shop redo? I gotta mute.
Yeah, I think
I gotta mute.
we're mostly done with the comic, with everything in the comic book store. There's a few little projects we've got in mind, but it's not heavy lifting stuff. So yeah, the building of the racks and the repainting, that's all kind of stuff that's big construction stuff. That's all done. So
Dude, I learned something this week.
yeah.
So I as much as it pains me to do this, I have to give you a compliment.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Where's Doc, by the way? Somebody send him an invite?
No, he doesn't get one. I'm just kidding. No, he's actually at Rare Evo.
Oh, okay.
I
think I remember him saying he was going to be somewhere this weekend. So
yeah, he's at a event. In fact, he sent me a photo. He went to the WAGME booth or the WAGME house or something. Avery, you're gonna dig this. And he sent me this picture.
Oh, cool.
So that's our cover right there.
nice.
Pretty cool, right?
Very cool.
Yeah, it turned out really nice, man.
Where's our t-shirts?
I don't even have one. They just made it for this show. I'm very hopeful that we will get t-shirts soon. Scott better do it. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get t-shirts, man. I'm really happy with it. It turned out really cool.
Yeah,
So,
it looks good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I did learn something in comics. I realized that retailers, and this is coming from a couple. There's North Carolina is awesome in that there's several comic shops near me, right? Like you got to drive a little bit, but there's a bunch of comic shops. I've come to the realization that I don't think comic shop owners know what business they're in anymore. And what I mean by that is I found a new comic shop like fairly close to us. It was on the way to like a after school thing for the kids. And it's not a comic shop. It's one of those comic shops where the name of the comic shop is Cards and Comics.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? So I was like, oh crap, like let's like check this out. And um so we went there and walked in, and it was definitely a legitimate comic shop, but it was um like, you know, when you walk in, you know exactly what you're getting. You're walking, like, if you've been in enough comic shops, right? Like, you walk in, you know exactly what you're getting. So like I
Yeah.
walked
Yeah.
in, and half of it was cards, and most of it was comic books. But I could look at the comic boxes, and they were kind of disheveled, and there was stuff kind of everywhere, and like the boxes weren't new; they were kind of beat up, and there were like cardboard boxes and kind of crates. Like, it was clear that this was like big collection, go buy something. But they had stuff on the wall, but there was nothing. I mean, they didn't have any slab books. It was just like kind of random stuff on the wall. And so I was going through it, and I was like, oh, I mean, for me, that's actually usually a good sign, because that usually means I'm going to find something I like, even if I wish it was a little more professional looking. So I'm going through there, and like nothing is alphabetical. It's almost like, at one time, maybe several years ago, it was alphabetical, but they don't give a crap. So it's not in alphabetical order. So I'm just kind of thumbing through stuff. There is a ton of stuff in these collections that hits me. I'm like, I want a lot of this stuff. Some stuff I'd actually never seen before, like really good old books, like 70s, 80s, 90s, like good run, maybe even some 60s. It was really pretty good. Um, the problem, though, is that every single book, it didn't matter what it was. Okay, it didn't matter what condition it was in. Pretty much every single book was $5, $8, $10, or like $20. So the bottom was like $5. I ended up buying one book. And I was like, and the other thing is, if I can find it, the other thing is like, it was there was no logic to this. No, I put it over there. There was no logic to it, meaning, hey, you know that first arc of Carnage drawn by who drew that with that early Bagley, right? You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those books are fairly, they're not easy to find anymore. And for $5, I might be able to see it right next to like some Super Pro reject uh book you never heard of, by no company, no nothing, just completely random. Also $5. Like, every issue of everything five. I was like, you got to be kidding me, dude. $5, $8, like tons of $8 books. And I have it, and it's over here. I'm gonna grab it real quick. I'll just take you with me. Like, I found one thing. I find this for $2. Now it's a reader copy,
Okay.
but that's all I wanted anyway. And I realized, I was like, these people don't know what business they're in. If they had dropped their price, if their prices were, but I still stand by that. I think you could raise your prices 25 to 50 cents, $1 to $2, $2 to $4. But that's about the cap. If these things were like $4 or $2, I probably would have spent $50. But his prices were so high that I ended up spending like 10. He lost money because his prices were so high. And I was like, these weren't like mint condition shining copies. These weren't like 10 gem mint 10.0s. These were not good. These were like reader copies. And I was like, why are you charging this amount? Like, if you're going to charge if I'm hunting for something and I find something for 5, 8, 10, 15, $20, it better be gem mint like 10.0 so that I can like grade it. Otherwise, if I'm going to spend 10, 15, $20 on a comic book, I'm going to get the graded version. I can read it online, bro. Like, why would I either want a reader copy or I'm collecting it? Like, there's not really a mid ground anymore. Am I wrong?
No, but I've had experience with people who do that. I had a guy who used to be a dealer, and he sells a lot of stuff online, or at least he told me he sells a lot of stuff on eBay. And he wanted to bring some books in on consignment. And I said, sure, no problem. And he brought in a box, and the majority of it were Iron Man comics. Every single one had an $8 sticker on it. And
Mhm.
these are literally dollar comics. And I
Right.
said, the prices are just way too high. Nobody is going to buy these. And honestly, he only ever sold three issues, and two of them were I bought them because they were the first appearance of War Machine, and they
Mhm.
were actually worth something. So I put
Mhm.
them aside for myself and just told him somebody bought them and gave him the money for them.
Mhm.
But they were well worth more than $8, but he didn't know that. But the rest of them were just like regular issues. And he told me his thought was, if you went on eBay and looked for this issue, you might find it for $3 or $4, but then you'd have to pay shipping and taxes and so forth. So $8 to him sound reasonable. But I'm like, I'm not shipping these to anybody. These are in a store that nobody is going to. And the only kid that bought one issue for $8, I felt bad for him because the kid didn't know what he was buying. He just really liked the cover. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I felt bad. And after that, after the kid bought the one issue, I took the whole box and put it down. And when he came in, I said, listen, this isn't going to work. Nobody
It's not
wants
going to
to buy
work. Yeah.
Nobody
Hey,
wants
what's
to
up,
buy
Richard? How you doing? Happy Friday.
Hey, Richard.
But yeah, man, I was just like, I was beside myself. I was like, if I had more time, I might go back because I'm sure there's some. I mean, it was so random. Like all of a sudden, like I found. Yeah. Here's the problem. 90% of the comic books, $5, $8, $10+ $2 McFarlane book, which is perfect for me because this is I like, I want to read it and look at it. My Hero Academia, volume number 1,
Mm-hmm.
$1.
Sure.
And I'm like, why would I ever buy a comic from you, bro? I can buy a whole book. Like, it was just, I almost felt like if I should go back in there, I'll probably go back again to see if I can find some more like super cheapies. But like, I almost kind of want to be like, bro, you would sell like 10x if you just lowered your price. Like your prices are way off. I mean, he's not gonna ever listen to me. Who gives a shit? But I'm just,
Well,
it blew my mind.
I've recently been going through my back issues and pulling out stuff that they're either independent books or they're stuff nobody's ever going to buy. And I take the boards out, seal the bags back, and stick them in my quarter bin. My quarter bin are 5 for $1. And I sell a lot of stuff that way because people like, oh, okay, they're willing to give a chance for a quarter or 20 cents, where $1, they're not. They're nobody's looking for those books.
No.
You got to be willing to, and I keep meticulous track of how much I pay for books. Like I was just telling Avery, I picked up a collection of G.I. Joe comics last week, and a lot of them beat to hell. Some of them were in bags and came out a lot better, but it was like almost an entire run. Issue 1 through 7 were the Tales of G.I. Joe, which are the reprints, and then 8 on all the way through 149. There was a couple of holes in there, but a lot of the later issues, which are the harder to find ones, they guide for $10 to $12 a piece. A lot of those were still in bags in really good condition. I'm in the process of pressing all of them. I've pressed 32 of them so far. And then I've got a couple that are in the press right now that I'm simply pressing them to make them look a little bit better. They're going in the dollar bin as reader copies because there's chips and cracks and all that, whatever. But there was a copy of issue 21 in there, and there was a first print, and there was a first print copy of issues 26 and 27. All of them, all 3 of those issues are worth money, but they were a little beat up. But I'm going to press them and possibly get them graded just simply because they're so hard to come by.
All I'm looking for are reader McFarlane and Larson right now. Amazing Spider-Man reader copies. That's it.
Yeah, they're out there.
I haven't. I mean, I found this is the first one. That's the first one I've ever found, and I think this guy had a couple more. He had like the Dale Keown run. But again, it was like all $5. I mean, he had like really good stuff, and I'm like, this is like really good. This actually, might make me buy some stuff. But I'm like, I'm not paying $25 for 4 or 5 comics. Like, you're out of your mind.
They could also be consignment, where somebody else put the price on them, or he doesn't have a clue.
It looked to me like the prices had been put on by different people at different times because there were a bunch that were $2 that I found later, but 99% of it was just like $5, $10, $15. And I was like, again, to me, if you're looking maybe in the guide, I could see like some of those being worth it, but these were not mint books.
Yeah.
These were like these were all reader copies. Every single thing in there was a reader copy. Like, are you going to pay $15 for Youngblood #1?
No.
Who would? You can get it in a quarter bin. I'm not paying $15 for it. I've got 4 of them. like, come on, man. Hey, Richard says, hey guys, I got my copy of the facsimile of Godzilla #1, and it looks great with a foil. It also has all the original ads, which are really fun to look at. I also picked up a Marvel book, Time Bandits. Ooh, Time Bandits.
Oh, jeez.
Time Bandits is awesome. Wasn't that the old Time Bandits?
Did you see the trailer for the
don't
relaunch of Time Bandits
cool.
as a TV series?
I heard it. I heard it was not very good.
I bet it's terrible.
Well, watch it and no.
No. Why subject myself to these things?
Avery, you subject yourself to a lot worse and you know it.
Yeah, because that's my kink.
I know.
Great.
I pay that woman good money to kick me there.
Excellent. Excellent.
Oh, Avery.
We're off to a good start tonight.
Avery.
What?
I might have found somebody willing to help us make those videos that we talked about on my last live stream.
Wait. The Japanese fart porn?
No.
Oh, great. We're doing this.
The testing the underwear in hurricanes.
Oh my god, no.
What
Yeah.
are you?
No, that was meant to be a joke. We're
It
not doing
was.
that for real.
But I may have found somebody willing to help us make those videos and do it. So
Are they over the age of 8?
I'm not doing it.
you don't have to do it. Don't worry.
You're going to do it? It was meant to
Am
be
I
a
going to
meme.
do it? I said I found somebody who might be willing to help us
Please
make
don't.
those videos.
What?
I'm
What
not,
are you?
I'm not, I disavow.
I just don't know how to incorporate it into my scam channel
Yeah.
to get the most views.
Okay.
But
Okay. We were joking.
What is
about-
this about? Do I want to know?
I'm trying to fill you in.
well, hold on. Let
But
me
you
let me
didn't-
set it up. Let me set it up.
Oh my god, you'll take too
Oh
long.
God.
You will take too long. Here
Okay,
it
go
is.
ahead.
Here it is. This is what it's really about. Okay.
Hmm.
On YouTube, there are these videos where girls are like, "Oh, I'm going to try out this new shirt. This is what it looks like wet." And then we were joking that there's
Sorry. Okay.
yeah, like so they just want to show their boobs and get clicks off of a wet t-shirt.
Hey, I'm Kay.
I was like, there's no guy equivalent of that. And we joked about, we should make a channel, but it's just some fat dude tested out tidy whities that way. Like, they're wet. This is my review. This is what they look like wet.
I just imagine slow motion,
Yeah, if Andrew had told that story, it would have taken 20 minutes.
But I may know somebody, may have met somebody. He sent me an email, and he's willing to help us out with that.
No. Someone took that seriously?
Yeah, well,
No, ain't happening. You post that video, I disavow.
okay. Well,
Anybody that takes this seriously, Andrew, and actually follows up with you on this is probably someone you want to avoid. I'm just going to put this out there. Just letting you know.
well,
I'm just trying to help.
I'm just trying to figure out. My scam channel is very specific.
Yeah.
And if I started making, or if I started hosting videos of that nature, would it turn people in? Would people tune in, or would they tune out?
Out.
Or
Out.
would this be something that we'd have to help them create a whole new channel for?
Whole new channel.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens, but
That sounds horrific.
I know.
No, it's
I'm trying.
I only joke about these horrors. I don't want to participate in them.
I didn't say you had to participate. But if I found somebody who's willing to denigrate themselves in such a manner,
Oh dear
the
God.
joke was
You understand? This is called cuckery. This is where it leads.
Todd, the joke was that these young ladies making these videos where they literally put on these tighty whitey shirts and they go jump in the shower and they spray themselves down with the thing. Like, how does this look in the rain? You know, they say before they do it, this is for educational purposes and not for sexual gratification. It's a catch line that they use in front of all
I
the
know.
videos. And Avery and I were
This shirt
joking,
set
what if
my
guys
moves.
what if guys did that, you know? And we talked about, you know, testing out how your underwear would do in a hurricane, you know, type of thing. What's the best tighty whities or underwear to wear in a hurricane? And somebody took me up on it, so we'll see what happens.
No, this is bad. Like, if you meet with that person, you're probably going to go missing.
No, I don't. I have no intention of traveling down there to meet this person, but if they're willing to make a video, so
I'm so scared.
don't be scared.
This does not make me feel confident.
I actually had to have a conversation
In
with
anything.
my mother-in-law because some of the scammers recently have found out our address, our home address. And it's not like it's not out there. I mean, literally, you can Google my name and get my address. It's not a big deal.
Everybody's social security number and address got hacked.
Yeah. But see, I have so many fake names that I use and old addresses that I use that they that nobody's 100% sure exactly which one is true, you know. But I told my mother-in-law that if I'm not home and somebody comes to the front door, like a salesman or something, her natural reaction is to invite them in the house to sit down so the dog will stop barking at them. I told her, don't do that. You go outside and you shut the door. You don't let them in the house. And she told me the story about how one day there was somebody walking in the backyard and she went outside to see why this person was in her backyard. And supposedly they were claiming that they were a realtor and they were evaluating the property. And she's like, well, what are you doing in my backyard? She says, well, your backyard only goes to a certain point. And she goes, no, my backyard extends all the way to the other side of the lake. And the lady was like, no, it doesn't. She says, well, come inside and I'll show you the deed and all this. And I'm like, you invited this person into your house in order to show them it's like, you invite people into your home, strangers. The very first thing they notice is, number one, whether or not you have a security system. They'll see right away whether you do or not. Number two, they'll see that your only form of protection is that little chihuahua, and that dog ain't going to stop anybody. And you just let them in your house. Are you out of your... We had to have a talk. So... Needless to say, I explained to her what swatting was. I told her if I'm live streaming and the cops come to the door, you know what's going on and how to handle that, and how to react to that.
I found your wet t-shirt thing, dude.
Who said anything about t-shirts? We're talking about underwear.
Yeah, but I can't render that. It won't let me.
Okay. That could be what the guy looks like. I don't know.
You know. If I type in underwear, it says I'm doing something weird, and it won't let me do it.
Type in, this is for educational purposes only, not for sexual gratification. See what
you know, that is, why didn't I think of that? Not sure why I didn't think about that. That's
MK
really
says, that sounds like the plot of a Criminal Minds episode. Gonna Walter White it. Yeah, she's going on vacation. She's gonna have fun. And she's gonna be gone for a week. And my wife and I are going to run around the house naked. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, God.
It's the small things in life you got to look forward to. All right, so
It
comic news. Anybody got any comic news worth talking about? Or
Yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah?
Well, you first.
no, I'm
I
asking.
got a couple. I
don't
got a
have
couple
anything.
things.
I don't have anything.
You don't have anything. You always have something.
Well, maybe I do. I just forgot about it. Let me look.
You haven't bought any new slab books?
Oh yeah, of course I bought new slab books. Oh, let me show you that one that I was telling you guys about that I bought just because I love the cover.
Mm.
Oh,
While you're doing that, Richard says, "Hey Avery, what have you been working on lately? Can you talk about it?" Avery's muted for some reason. I didn't do that. Oh, they chose to mute themselves. He's muted. So I don't know where Avery is. Avery will answer you in a minute. Great. So Andrew, go ahead.
yeah. All right, so you want to see those two books? Well, one of them is a book I was telling you about. One's just an extra one I got just for poops and giggles.
Mhm.
But this is the one. I'd never heard of this series before. It's called Echo of Future Past. It was like an anthology book published from Continuity Comics back in 1984. This is issue number 3, and it's a 9.6 copy, but it's got Bucky O'Hare on the cover by Michael Golden.
Oh, I remember that cover.
Yeah.
That's a continuity comic. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes,
I
it is.
remember that. I remember that cover. I loved that cover. That's a classic cover.
Yeah. I'm not
Mhm.
I'm not so sure I want to sell it. This may be kept for myself, but we'll see. And then the other one that I got that wasn't a Walking Dead comic, because I got a whole bunch of Walking Dead comics, was one of Avery's favorites. It's Convergence, issue number 1. This was one of the retailer incentives. It is a Brian Boland Swamp Thing versus Plastic Man cover.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's
It's
really
just
cool.
a really nice cover.
It's a good cover. Convergence is dumb, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. But this was
Cover's fantastic.
This was the retailer variant. I think there was only it was like 1 in 25 or something like that. So it was actually a limited issue. But I got it for a really good price. So
Hey, Avery, Richard was asking, what have you been working on lately, and can you talk about it?
Nothing. I have had nothing to do. I've been very, very bored. Nothing.
We're getting them. We're working on it. We're getting them. We're getting them on something.
I am going to be opening up commissions though soon.
Nice.
I'm going to be taking commissions, like full blown, like cover quality stuff if you want it.
Awesome.
Oh, I'm not sure if you heard, but they're relaunching. Image is relaunching G.I. Joe, and they showed some of the alternate covers, and guess who is suspiciously missing from any of the team shots or covers? Which G.I. Joe character?
It's either got to be Duke or Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
He's nowhere to be found.
Is he under a different copyright or something?
I have no idea.
Someone probably owns the rights to him.
Yeah, well, he's been in the G.I. Joe comic, but he just hasn't been like a main character. He's been on a couple of covers, but in this new relaunch, there's a G.I. Joe on one side, Cobra on the other side, and Snake Eyes is not in there at all.
They're subverting expectations.
Well, you know who's joined the G.I. Joe team, though, right?
No.
The Baroness. She's now part of G.I. Joe.
Terrible idea.
Yeah. You want to hear something even cooler? So in these later issues of G.I. Joe that I have, they were doing like handbook of the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, like backups. In each issue, it had a spotlight of a certain character. The issue that had the Baroness, guess who did the art for the image of the Baroness? I'll give you a hint. You would not associate him with G.I. Joe ever, and he recently passed away within the last couple of years.
And it's not George Perez?
George Perez.
No.
I don't know if George Perez has ever done a G.I. Joe anything. He would have been fantastic, but I don't think he ever did. I mean, Mike Zack is known. Roy Thomas is known. There's some GI Joe. Larry Hama is well known in GI
Obviously,
Joe,
yeah.
but I mean, hell, even McFarlane did an issue of GI Joe. And what's so funny, I had a kid that came in the store last weekend, and he was looking for Todd McFarlane books, specifically stuff that maybe nobody knew about. And I'm like, dude, I'll introduce you to Todd McFarlane that you never knew about. I showed him Infinity Incorporated issues with Todd McFarlane.
Mhm.
I showed him the Spitfire and the Troubleshooters, that one issue of that he drew. He was like, I had no idea. He bought that one because it was just $1 book. But I was like, yeah, he also did an issue of G.I. Joe, and he was looking for Hulks and Spider-Man. So I'm like, yeah, those are great. Yeah. But there's other stuff that he did that you may have no clue about. What was that one big crossover, the DC crossover, the
Batman Year 2?
No, the end of the world one. Invasion.
Yeah.
He did those double-sized issues, those 2 issues.
Yeah.
The kid was like, he had no idea. I'm like, yeah, well, I'll turn you on to him.
Come back to the store. Come back to the store and we'll see.
I thought Richard says I really liked Perez's work, especially his Wonder Woman pieces. Oh yeah, absolutely. I have a friend, or we have a friend.
Wait. Pause. Because you skipped one, and I was waiting for you to take a breath.
Oh, okay.
Richard also says, Avery, let me know when you do open your commissions. Andrew has my email address. I've been banned by Twitter.
Oh, jeez. Richard, you bad boy.
Okay, now continue.
Well, one of our friends, Rich Bernatovich, actually knew George personally.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was working on creating his Sentinel series, he was sending character designs to George to get his input. And George Perez actually did individual character drawings of all of his Sentinel characters. He has a collection of all of his characters done by George Perez.
That's pretty awesome.
It is.
Yeah. MK says, dude, you must have made his day. Got a history lesson too. Nice, Drew.
Yeah, but the funny part was he didn't have that much money, so he said he'd have to come back.
Yeah, but he will. I mean, like people
Well, the Spitfire was $1, but some of the early Infinity Incorporateds were like $2 or $3, so he only had a couple bucks to spend. So, but
but see, that's what I would pay for it. I would absolutely pay that. If you had all of the McFarlane Spider-Mans or Hulks that are just like beat up and reader copy, I would buy them in a heartbeat. Like they would not be at your store long.
Yeah. Well,
but it's like you're not gonna sell me a reader copy for like $8. Like it's not gonna happen. Like you don't understand your market anymore, bro.
Well,
it's just people are stupid.
For those of you out there that don't understand what we mean by a reader copy, you want to highlight me for a second? I'll show you what a reader copy looks like.
Yeah, sure. Hold on.
This is a copy of G.I. Joe issue number 8. This would be considered a reader copy. It has a spine roll where you can see where the spine's been rolled really bad. If you get a close look, there's a lot of wrinkles in the cover. There's a lot of fraying on the outside of the cover. I mean, you hold it backwards, you can see how the roll shows the paper folding over on itself like this. I mean, I'm going to try to flatten this as best I can, but it's still going to be $1 book.
A reader copy is literally there to be read. Like it's not going to be worth money. It's not going to be worth $1 million. You're buying it specifically so you can open it up and check it out. Like look at that. You
can see the bottom of these pages, they're all wrinkled. The staples are barely. There's like a tear in the front of the cover and all. I would not charge more, honestly, in this condition. This would be a 50-cent book, but I'm going to press it and flatten it and see if I can get $1 for it. But I've got issue 8, issue 11, same thing. Issues 13 and 15. Like this one's like, you see how wrinkled that is? Mm-hmm. But still, if you just wanted to read this book, fantastic. Perfect for
that. Says used for swatting flies.
Somebody might have done that at one point.
It might have, yeah. That is.
But here's a funny thing. I was going to say, is this one? Yeah, this issue number 8 has in the middle of it a thicker than regular paper advertisement. These are what they
I
call
remember that.
Mark Jeweler inserts. What this is this was a jewelry insert primarily for like the military, for whenever they would ship to the military, like for commissaries or PXs.
Really?
The issues would include Mark Jeweler inserts, and they're considered more valuable because there were a lesser number of them, and they were usually on like stands so that they were not treated well because they were usually picked up and bought by military guys who beat the crap out of their comics. Nobody collected comics back in those days. So if you have a issue that has a Mark Jeweler insert and it's in really good condition, it's usually worth more. And actually CGC will note on the grading if it includes a Mark Jeweler advertisement in it.
I never knew that. That's really cool.
Yep. That is what I mean. I used to remember seeing the Mark Jewelers all the time because I bought from the commissary when I went with my dad, and never once did I realize that was something that was specific for the military. These are advertisements specifically for the military.
That's
and
awesome.
Actually, issue number 21 of G.I. Joe, which is what they call the silent issue, it is also the first appearance of Storm Shadow. So it's an important book. But a first print 9.4 ungraded copy runs almost $300.
Wow.
The only version of that book that's worth more is a 9.4 Mark Jewelers copy, first print. It's worth about $350. So just having that advertisement in the middle of it adds almost $50 to the value.
It just makes it
because
different.
of how rare it is. Yeah. But I actually have a first print of issue number 21 in this stack here.
Is it high quality or is it
No.
bigger copy?
Oh, well, it doesn't have a serious spine roll, and it's worth pressing to see what I can do with it. I may grade it just simply because it's a hard issue to find. It may come back a 5 or a 6, but if I press it and it looks nice, I may grade it anyway. But it's one of those, it's probably the third, it's the most valuable G.I. Joe issue from the original Marvel run. The next highest one is actually the last issue number 155, because the print run was so low on that.
Mm-hmm.
And the third highest valued book, of course, is issue number 1. That's about $100. So 300, 150, 100.
That's actually pretty cool, man.
Used to be back in the day, issue number 2 was the one that was so hard to find and get.
I want to say this. This is something unique, Andrew, that I've noticed over the last couple of years. You and I and Avery, and Ramel, comic nerd, we never knew this. You knowing this about the advertisement and the first appearances and all that is a pure result of you collecting these slabs. Am I right? It's added to the nerd because you didn't. I mean,
Yes.
We never talked about this one has the ad and that's just not how the collecting thing worked back in the day.
Right. Nope. You're right. Excuse me. I've got to open the door. Somebody's screaming because somebody is at my door screaming.
Is it a child or is it a?
Yes, it's a child.
It's not. I'm gonna guess it's the cat.
Cat.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's the cat because, although if it was a child, that would just make the show much more interesting.
Yeah, because his children are grown and would yell loud enough, we would probably hear it.
It could be someone else's child.
That would be weird.
He's literally talking about testing underwear in the rain, homie.
Oh yeah, and taking it seriously.
Yeah, he's got this. he's like, yeah, this is a plan. All right, so I got something for you. Guess what came in the mail a couple days ago.
In the mail.
In the mail. Can I show you this? You ready for this?
Go for it.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
It is so pretty. Now, here's a pop quiz for you. Here's a pop quiz for you. And I didn't know this, so I don't expect you guys to know it. How old, without looking it up, how old was David Mazzucchelli when he drew this?
Early 30s is my guess.
Okay, good guess. Keep going.
I'd
What is
say
it?
I'm
What
curious.
is
early.
it? What is it? What is it? Younger 20s?
I'd say
No,
early
I'm not gonna-
40s.
Early 40s. Okay.
Yeah, because I think he was an older guy.
Yeah, Richard, it's beautiful. So in his 40s, and Avery, you think like would you say early 30s, mid 30s,
Early 30s?
early 30s? Look at this book.
Yeah.
It's very pretty.
He was 25.
Oh my God. He was way ahead.
25, bro. 25. Let me just show you this. This is. I apologize in advance because this is just not going to be very easy to see. Can you see that?
No,
Okay.
It'd be better if you had like an overhead camera and you laid it on your table because we really don't
I-
need to see you.
Yeah, I know. Can I put it up here? I mean, I can, but is that a? Oh, that actually. Holy shit, that works. How can I do this? Give me a second. We're gonna figure this out.
Ah!
We're gonna figure this out. Give me a
Oh, by
second.
the way, in Todd,
Mhm.
in the latest DC solicitation, I'm not
Mhm.
sure if it's a limited series or what, but
Uh-huh.
there is a new book coming out called Batman and Robin Year One with art by Chris Samnee.
Wait, say this one more time. It's Batman and Robin Year One.
Solicitation for a new comic called Batman and Robin Year One
Yeah, he's
with
doing all the
art
classic
by
shit.
Chris Samnee. The only
Yeah.
thing that sucks about it is it's written by Mark Waid,
Of course it is,
which
because
means
they're best buddies.
I'm not buying it. I'm not going to
Yeah.
buy it. Now,
Yeah.
if somebody else
I know.
wants to buy it and bring it in my store and trade it in, that's fine because I get that a lot. But I'm not buying it.
Hi.
That's a scary ass image, man.
All right, look at this. Does that work?
Look at
Yeah.
it.
Sure.
That
Oh, yeah.
camera's
At
a little
eight-
blurry, but
At 8, this is supposed to be high def.
okay.
25 years old. So I'm just going to show you some of these sketches. You know what? In fact, let me, if I turn this off, I might actually. No, that doesn't work. Okay. So wait until I'm just going to get to the good stuff. I'm going to get right to the pages. Like, dude. And I love it. What they did with this collection is they put it on a gray background so the pages pop,
Mm-hmm.
which I haven't seen them do before.
hmm
And that it really, really works. All right, look at this. All of the rough pages.
Well, it's amazing they could get a hold of that stuff. He must have.
Not only that, the pages, because this is the entire story. What really, so you kind of nailed it, dude. Not only, look at that rough. I mean, I know every single page by heart, so it's like, but not only are these like, did they nail this and get everything here? But the pages themselves are cherry, dude. Cherry pages. They're all cherry. Like just perfectly mint condition.
Did he keep this?
I don't know. I did see one that was definitely signed, and it was like, oh, to my friend, whatever. But he might own all of these because they're all like, and I mean, they all look like this.
Wow.
They all look like this, dude.
I haven't ordered that yet.
You should, bro. It is I mean, look, I own this book. I have like 4 different versions of it. I've got the
Yeah.
Absolute Edition. I've got the original graphic novel that I bought way back in the day. But bro, these pages are just incredible. Like, I mean, it's just incredible. and seeing how thick his brush is up close and what he was doing. Yeah, man, this is a fucking incredible book. Isn't that incredible? And so like it goes through and it's pretty much has it's the entire story, right? And that's cool. It's got Batman hiding. Like, look how good that the composition is,
Very nice.
right? And then, in fact, and I don't remember. I'm a little afraid this shit's gonna fall off this thing, but like, it's just so good. And then if I could show you there's only like one color piece. But yeah, it's got where is it? Yeah, look at that.
Looks great.
I mean, it is a drop dead gorgeous book. So I think eBay. Richard says eBay has it signed for $2,000.
Oof.
Nah.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I'll order it off Amazon.
Yeah, because you can get his Daredevil run, the Daredevil Mazzucchelli book is out, and that, I mean, good Lord, dude. I mean, he must have been, here, wait.
Yeah, you can't find the large, you can only find the second printing that's like smaller soft cover.
Yeah, dude, like, it's incredible. Like, I don't know, man. I was really, like, stunned at how good it was. You know what I mean? It's really, and like I said, it's completely cherry. So like, I don't know, man. It's super good. I was telling, so okay. Here's something, and this will actually be a good lead in to the next thing. So there's a lot of amazing artist editions, right? Like and it's like, God, it smells so good. It's like brand new paper. Oh, fucking addictive smell. So there are a million different artist editions out there, right? What are your top, let's say, top 3 artist editions that are like insta buys? Okay, and by insta buy I mean something that's just like it would freak you out that they made it. So for instance, like, yeah, so just something that you're like, you don't even have to think about it. You're like, yeah, 100%. I'm just gonna pre-order this. Like, this is mine. So what are some of those?
Even if it hasn't been made yet.
Yeah, completely. Whether it has been made or it has not, it doesn't matter. Like, just if it's been made, awesome. And if it hasn't been made, like, what should be made?
I got 3 easy.
Okay.
George Perez's JLA Avengers, including the original pages owned by Rob Liefeld.
Oh yeah,
those would have to be in there. My number 2 would be the original, the black and white Dark Horse Presents versions, as well as the first limited series, and maybe a couple of the other ones. Aliens vs. Predator.
Really? Aliens vs. I thought you were gonna say Monkey Man and O'Brien.
Chris Warner's work. There's not enough to make an artist edition of that.
I know.
There really isn't. But Aliens vs. Predator, those original Chris Warner and Jeff Isherwood, dude, that's some beautiful artwork. I'd love to see it oversized and collected. And the third would be the one you shared with us earlier this week, and that's Jason Pearson's Body Bags.
Well, that's what I was getting towards.
Sorry, hate to jump on you, but that to me was an almost a get in line to buy it. I don't know if it'll happen, but all
right. So what about you, Avery?
They've probably made all mine already that I would insta buy, unless you know what? If they added Bisley's First Lobo.
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
that 4-issue miniseries. If they put that as an artist edition,
Yeah, but they could also
Yeah.
include like the follow-ups, the Christmas special, the Lobo versus the Authority. You know, I
Lobo.
mean,
Just
oh,
I just
freaking
want
A.
the Bisley ones.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Bisley did the majority of those. There was a lot of other ones, but yeah. Oh,
Yeah, if they did Lobo's back, and the Christmas special he did together, that
Yeah.
would be enough.
Yeah, that would be a that I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, that would be a 100%
Yeah.
buy.
There's something coming out, like the soft cover's out, and the hardback may be out in the UK, but I don't think it's been released in America yet. And I want that hardback slipcover edition.
I saw that
of
hardback and
Slain.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it for sale. I looked for the same thing. I saw the floppy and I was like, "That's cool. Where's the hardback?" I was like, "I want the hardback suitcase."
slipcover edition of Slain the Horn God.
Yeah, man.
I want that. That's the reason I haven't because I want that. I know it's coming out soon. That's the reason I haven't bought the artist edition yet of Batman Year One, because it's a toss up for me.
Oh, you remember that company Flesk that I showed you guys that has the Art Adams book and the Terry Dodson art book? They just announced they're doing pre-orders for a Mark Schultz complete various drawings book. Dude, that looks beautiful.
Richard says he has a hard time thinking as he has so many artists that he would buy. Zach, do you have any artists? Is there anyone specific? Like if you just saw a giant original art book?
Nope.
Ooh, I have another one.
Cool, Zach.
Zach's like, nope.
I just thought of one that I would love to have. James Jean. You know,
Maybe,
something collecting all his Fable covers and all his DC covers, and
Especially if it's at least a little oversized.
oh yeah. Some of his I like about 90% of his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it doesn't work, but you know, the majority of it I really, really like what he does.
Like I love a lot of Ashley Wood stuff, and a lot of his books are oversized.
Mm-hmm.
But he also has these other art books, and I've bought one of them where it's tiny.
Oh, really?
Like it's about almost the size of like a manga, and it's like all these paintings and stuff. It's like it's like beautiful artwork, but the book is so small.
Yeah.
It's like I like the fact that he publishes so much stuff oversized, large format. That's what I like.
Yeah,
And this is an art book I bought years ago.
So for me, and this is sort of what I was getting at, of course, and Andrew stepped on my line, but that's okay. We're friends.
Yeah, well.
I
figured
me,
you needed the what is it that when you change subjects and go another direction?
Yeah,
Segue.
bridge or segue.
Segue. Yeah, you needed the
yeah.
segue.
Yeah, I did. And thank you, Andrew. I really appreciate it. Yeah, for me, so the first one is the Jim Lee Artist Edition book. Like, no question, the Jim Lee Artist, and that's out. That's the one with the X-Men pages, like the X-Men stuff.
What about a Wildcats collection?
I never thought his artwork on Wildcats was anywhere near.
His artwork on Wildcats is nowhere near as impactful or as influential on the industry as his Uncanny X-Men.
That Uncanny X-Men stuff was loose enough to be like really unique, and there's no one that drew like that. And so I think for me, I think that X-Men book is I could do with. I wish it was twice as thick, right?
Yeah, I love it. It's beautiful.
But I'm super happy with it.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, Savage Dragon, which is coming out, because like the first like 6-7 issues with all that stuff, I cannot wait to see that in black.
Eric Larson was on fire artistically.
He really was.
I mean, he was Eric fucking Larson before, now he's fucking Eric Larson.
Yeah, that's pretty much the truth. So like I that is a book that I was like, holy shit, insta buy. Like I will own that.
Mhm.
at some point. There's two other books that come to mind in my mind. One has never been announced, which is I would love, even though I've seen a lot of it, I've seen a lot of the original art. I would love to have like an artist edition of the first 6 issues of Battle Chasers. Why that hasn't happened yet, I don't know, but I think it would be awesome. Okay,
When it comes to comics, Joe Mad has left all kinds of money on the table.
I know this is true. And then the second one, what Andrew mentioned, is body bags, and bro, it's happening. So this is Scott Dumbier's page. So Scott is the guy who invented this basically, and he was over at IDW for like 20 something years doing all the books. And he started his own, I guess he's left, and he started his own company called Act 4. But what he's doing is artist editions. And look at what he has coming out. He's got Darwin Cook, he's got Dave Stevens, and fucking Jason Pearson's Body Bag artist edition, bro. Like that right there. I remember like being at Gaijin Studios, and I don't know what they're going to show in this book, but I remember his like just like we just saw in Batman Year One, the rough pages. He was drawing his pages. Like the reason Body Bags took forever to come out is because he wanted to make it so good that he was drawing full detail on like 8.5 by 11. So his 8.5 by 11s is, at least the way I remember it, look like the final pages. That's why the inks and everything are so tight on the 11 by 17s, is because by the time it got up to that size, it was just like everything was already there.
Todd, you asked me. Actually, I would like to amend my earlier answer.
Too late. Too late.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Do it.
I'll speak anyway. This is still America. At least it will be for the next until at least until November. Nice. So there is one comic that if I could find a collected edition that was cheap, and it probably will because it's really obscure, I'd probably get it. It will be the full collection of Divine Right from Wildstorm.
Oh yeah.
Or the full title, Divine Right: The Adventures of Max Faraday. Because I remember reading that way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
When I was joining all the cool kids and like disdaining everything from Marvel and DC.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I mean,
it was a good book.
I like anything Jim Lee does, especially back in the '90s when he was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of his creative own stuff. I mean, I'll be honest. A lot of the creative own stuff that came out of Wildstorm, the art was good, the plot was shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Wildcats was basically an excuse to watch, to draw, babes with boobs and guns. All right. Gen 13 was basically like an Amazon fetish.
Yes.
But Divine Right actually had a pretty good story behind it.
Mm.
So I liked it, and so if I could find a collected edition of that, and one that wasn't like ridiculously overpriced or even used,
Mm-hmm.
I might spend a few of my few remaining hard-earned dollars on it.
Shekels, yeah.
Whatever I'm not spending on Facebook ads at the moment.
Right on. I think that actually I could see that. I could absolutely see that, or like a J. Scott Campbell Gen 13 or something. But like, look at this. So he's got Darwin Cook, Dave Stevens, Jason Pearson's Body Bags, Jim Aparo, which is a DC Classics collection, Wally Wood, which is going to be awesome. And this is like a new, because I think he did the Wally Wood one already, but this is called the expanded version. So I think he's making it bigger. But then he's doing 2 Walter Simonson books.
Oh, cool.
Well, this might be the same. Maybe the Connoisseur edition is a smaller edition. I'm not really sure. This collects the first 3 miniseries.
Yeah,
so
and when I
Yeah.
see Ragnarok in black and white, I always like it better than the. Like, I don't think modern coloring looks good with Walter Simonson's art.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like it.
Oh, these might be the graphic novels. So he might be releasing the graphic novels of Ragnarok for Walter Simonson, which is pretty awesome. But I can't tell you how excited I am about body bags as an artist edition. Like it's absolutely insane how much work he put into this book.
That goes on the list. That's a good one.
Yeah, dude. I'm not gonna miss it for sure.
I really wonder what the connoisseur edition means.
Well, yeah. You mean for Walter Simonson?
Yeah, well, I was looking at the Dave Stevens one too.
Oh, it's called a connoisseur edition?
Yeah, the Jason Pearson one is called the Artist Edition, but the rest of these are like the Jim Aparo's the Artist Edition, Wally Wood's Artist Edition.
Yeah, they're called artist edition.
Second
I guess
Ragnarok's called the Connoisseur Edition. Makes me really
Dave
wonder
Stevens.
what the difference is, you know?
colored. So these are books. Connoisseur edition are graphic novels. Because it says inked, penciled, colored.
Are
It's
they
like
oversized?
Yeah, this one collects Darwin Cook's entire 12 issue on Will Eisner's classic. So he's getting the rights. He's publishing graphic novels and artist editions, which
Very
I'm totally cool with.
Yeah. They'll be nice versions. They'll be like,
Oh yeah, dude. He's a little nuts. He's a little. Don't go to his Twitter page, but
I wonder who is the beneficiary of the estate of Jason Pearson.
I mean, it's probably his family. I mean, obviously his family.
Well, yeah, but I don't think he didn't have any children, did he?
Probably not. But he probably has. I mean, I don't really know his personal life, but he probably has like a brother or a sister or
Yeah.
parents or
The
something.
Dave Stevens one is copyrighted the Rocketeer Trust.
That's cool.
Wonder who's the beneficiary of the Rocketeer Trust. Did Dave Stevens have kids? I think he was married, wasn't he?
I don't know.
And I know Darwin Cook was. I know his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, if you have anything of value, your best bet, if you want to leave it to people you care about, is to form a trust and leave it that way.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Hero is created created by Andrew, Michael, and Ayla Charper. There's no dispute on who gets it.
You're just ripping them off. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well,
Here's the deal, though. If you turn Hero into something before you go, you want to put all your assets, including the copyright for Hero, in the trust. That way, there's no inheritance tax. They just take over as the executor of that trust.
well, they're already co-creators. So in my copyright filing, it is Andrew, Michael, and Ayla as the creators.
So Richard says, I would like to see something like that from Bill Sienkiewicz, but I would have a hard time because of what he is. Yeah, he's nuts, but they have an artist edition.
There is
an
one.
artifact.
Yeah, it's
an
hard
artifact edition of all the Elektra. It's got like a bunch of the Elektra stuff and a bunch of the New Mutant stuff. It is on my list for sure, but not the. I don't want the small book. If I'm going to spend money on it, I want like the thing.
The large full size hardback is the one that's hard to find.
Yeah, they're really hard to find, but that's the one that I would personally go after for because like that's like I guess as an artist, that's what you want to see,
Yeah. There's some I may have to settle for the smaller version. The smaller version is still oversized. It's just not full size. The paperback,
Mm-hmm.
I may have to settle for the paperback on some.
How would you describe here? I you know what? Give me 1 second. I gotta bounce. I'm gonna be right back, and then I have a question for you guys. I'll be right back. Everything's fine.
We can discuss stuff while he's gone.
Dusty, it's so good to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Hopefully,
We missed you.
life's going to get a little more normal from here on out.
Honestly, I didn't even realize he was here. I mean, he was gone for a minute there, and now he's back. So, okay.
Shut up.
It's good to have you, Dusty.
I almost wait. Hold on. I was trying to remove you, and I almost kicked you out of the studio. So, there we go. There we go. It's been a while. Well, I won't ban you from the room. Just
Yeah.
kick you off the stage.
Dang it, Andrew. Trying to be nice. Be nice.
What did I do? I was giving him a compliment. How much I missed him.
I miss you too, Andrew. It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
It's so sad. You rarely get compliments from this group, and when I give you one, you kick me because you're just not used to getting them.
This is
I understand.
True. This is true. I don't know what to do with myself when I get.
That's right.
From you,
That's right.
Andrew.
Do like Avery does. Touch yourself in private.
All right.
Private. I
I just got back here. What the hell is happening?
private. I charge $5.95 a month on OnlyFans.
Does Avery get kicked? No, Avery doesn't get kicked.
Avery's funny. Richard says, "How about?" I think he means Doug Quietly on Johnny Quest. Yeah, dude, that would be crazy good. That would be another one. Like, yeah, Russ Manning. Yeah. Those are some. Yeah, there are. Here's the problem. There's a fine line between like crawling over like broken glass to get and like, ooh, that would be super cool. Like most of the artist editions I have, minus maybe the McFarlane one and the Jim Lee one, are like the John Paul Leon, brilliant book. Like that artist edition is phenomenal, but it's also like a nice to have for some reason. Maybe it's just emotional tie. You know, if
Sure.
When I'll even admit it, when there's an X-Force artist edition, because you know that's going to come at some point, like I would probably be picking that up too, but I don't know if it would be like a Jason Pearson body bags, you know,
like a Rob Liefeld X-Force artist edition.
Yeah, dude, I would pick it up.
I would buy it too. Who am I kidding?
You totally would.
The nostalgia feels. Yes.
It gets that's. I will tell you. I will tell you, as hard as it is to admit,
it would absolutely.
It is
hit me in the member berries.
100%. And the problem is that out of all of the guys, I would say that like surprisingly, Jim Lee stuff doesn't age, which is why he was a genius at a young age. But Rob Liefeld stuff ages pretty well, I think. I think that might be because comics are no longer that good, but it does age pretty well. I think McFarlane stuff does not age well at all. It's really surprising. Like I have his books, and I've got some of the stuff. I'm like, oh, this looks great. It doesn't age well. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Like
I still like it. I'm not a fan of Rob Liefeld's artwork anymore. I'm not 15-year-old me who saw it and thought that was awesome. Whatever age I was when it came out.
Yeah.
But I've grown to just genuinely like Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
I find him amusing, so I would probably buy it for the nostalgia.
Yeah.
And enjoy it.
Yeah, me too. I would enjoy it. All right, so here's a quick question for you. How would you describe 1990s Marvel comic costumes? If you were going to put that into like a Midjourney or Stable Diffuse, like an AI. Like if you were going to say, I want a character in a 1990s Marvel comic style costume, what would that costume type be? Like what's the term for like Cable battle armor or anything like that?
Extreme pouches.
No.
Huge shoulder pads.
One of my favorite things about costumes was the New Mutants.
Mm-hmm.
The original New Mutants all had the same costume, the black and yellow costume.
They had
whenever they went out on like adventures where they had to, like disguise themselves or whatever, they would usually pull out their graduation costumes, the costumes that they were intended to wear when they graduated. And the designs were so freaking awesome. And they did it multiple times. And that team just kept having really great costumes. And I always loved those. And I also liked the New Warriors when they had a 3-issue series where they went into an alternate reality where the Sphinx took over the world, and they all had, and it was the New Mutant, or it was the New Warriors and the Avengers who had Egyptian style costumes. And it was freaking awesome to see these guys in different versions of their costumes. And that was a highlight for me in the 90s, is when they would do alternate costumes. And
yes, but
that wasn't indicative of the 90s styles, what he was asking.
yeah, but it was. And when
But
they
it
were
wasn't, but it
experimenting
wasn't.
with costumes, they were doing unique versions, alternate versions
What
of costumes.
took over the entire industry that everybody copied was the big shoulder pads and the pocket.
And that shit sucked.
And everybody copied it. That
I
was
know,
the 90s.
but it sucked.
No, it was awesome.
There were other parts of the 90s that were gorgeous.
That's what dominated.
I gotta find the image.
Because everybody copied it everywhere. It even followed to a lot of the Image books.
Richard says early Thor and the X-Men costumes. Yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah.
They were really good. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the term. Like, because it's not like a term for 90s costuming, right? Like, it's just
No.
90s costuming.
It was just everything you did, you had to take it to the extreme. It pouches, shoulder pads, guns. I mean, I mean, Rob Liefeld even had his character that was a Lobo ripoff. His space motorcycle was a gun.
Yeah, I remember that.
He wielded it.
Let me know. Let me know what you guys. Let me know what you guys think of this. This image.
Richard says his favorite costume was Storm's when she led the Morlocks. Yeah, that tight leather and white punk.
Oh yeah,
That was
Punk Rock
absolutely
Storm.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do I say? Is that a Greg Land? No, it's an
Nope.
Adam Hughes.
It's Adam Hughes. This is
Okay, yeah.
they're relaunching West Coast Avengers. This is Firestar as one of the members of the team, and this is Adam Hughes doing a version of her new costume.
Yeah,
I like
I mean-
it, except it needs the mask. It needs the face mask. It looks more heroic with the face mask. But I really like the design.
I mean, I like anything. I like anything that Adam Hughes draws. I would say that this is a little. Yeah, here's what I'll say. I actually like it, but because, creating a costume for Firestar is very difficult.
Sure.
That is one of those things that's very, very like not easy. So kudos to doing it. You know what I mean? Like I'll say that.
Yeah, I saw this today, and I was like, I'm almost want this issue, even though the series is going to suck ass. But
What's the stats on the series? Do you know who's going to be writing it or drawing it or anything?
yeah, it's in here somewhere. But one of the members of the team is Ultron. So
What?
yeah,
Okay. Of course. Sure.
yeah, go figure how they're going to do that.
Yeah. No, it doesn't matter. Good and evil is really. I mean, as long as they're not like. Never mind. Sure.
I guess the best way to describe comics designs today is flamboyant.
Mm-hmm.
You guys saw that one image that I sent you, the picture of the Hulk comic
I would
with
say
the disco
gay.
variant. All right, here's an image of the team for West Coast Avengers. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a fan of redheads. I kind of like her look in this. But that's Iron Man, War Machine, Spider Woman, Ultron, and Firestar. Firestar seems very out of place in this whole idea.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah.
You can't have two Iron Mans on the same team. You got to split them up. You got to have one on the main team, one on the West Coast team.
Well, this is West Coast Avengers.
See, they don't even know
Is
how
that,
to make.
wait a minute though. Wait. No. I'm gonna call bullshit because that is a different Iron Man suit. So it might not be Tony Stark.
Who said it was Tony Stark? I said it was Iron Man.
Oh, fair enough.
I personally don't think you should put both those on the same team.
Yeah. I guess it's Jerry Dugan
Wow.
story.
You
Yeah,
gotta have West Coast Avengers for a place to put Wonder Man. Because God,
Dude, Wonder Man was awesome.
like, who knows what to do with him? But still,
Wonder Man was awesome. I liked Wonder Man.
But he's one of those characters. You just kind of go like, what do we do with him? Put him over there with the other rejects.
You do, yeah. That was why I loved West Coast Avengers, because it was the reject team. I loved that book.
Yeah.
I thought that book was awesome.
Yep, but I saw that image and thought I'd share it. I'm cool.
That's
with
pretty
it.
cool.
And why is
Yeah.
Ultron on an Avenger team?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why would you
Well,
like?
that's why people are going to turn in to read the book, because they're going to want to know why Ultron's on an Avengers team.
Because everybody can be a good guy. It's just, there are no bad guys. It's just really a matter of
Everything's just
perspective.
shades of gray.
Yeah, it's just a matter of perspective, Avery. Come on.
It's another Ultron. But
Yeah,
then
right.
again,
It's-
when I was a little kid and saw the character like Brainiac, whatever, on Legion, I was like, wait,
Yeah.
why is there a Brainiac that's a good guy? But
Right.
it's like way in
Different.
the future. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm always open minded. I'm sure. I mean, if there's a really interesting and creative way to get it to work, then let's go. you know?
Yeah. It's I was always sucked in by the drama. When is Magneto good this time or a bad guy this time? I was always sucked into that. I liked it. It was cool. It was I always liked that about that character.
Yeah. I'm so I have been working on the initial stages of the potential animated show. And it's coming along. I think it's going to be very interesting. What gets you banned on YouTube? Because I have a feeling, and I'm just gonna put it out there. I have a feeling that if we do this, it's not going to be very PC.
Yeah. Every time you upload an episode, you need to also put it on like 3 other platforms.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Getting hosed down in your underwear without saying this is for educational purposes only.
Because it is also possible to monetize on X now, on Twitter, X, whatever. You can monetize there. You can. So you want to put it.
Well, I guess the reason I'm asking. MK says ban on YouTube. He says skibbity toilet.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking is because, as I'm doing research and figuring out pipelines and really making decisions whether I really want to go through this, like, one of the big challenges is, of course, like figuring out the niche that we want to fit into. And the two that we kind of fit into the most, whether we want to or not, the things that we could just talk about outside of like this, like comic nerd stuff, is probably somewhere in the realm of like either pissing on entertainment or pissing on politics or something like that. So I'm like, what are we
Entertainment.
like? Yeah. But then see here's the other problem though, is like a lot of those guys that talk about Disney and this and that, I think there's certainly a place for it, but that also means we have to watch it, or I have to watch it. Somebody has to watch it.
Oh.
Like that's the whole point. Like you are the audience. Like you have to watch it for work. Like
No, we can watch the trailer, make a quick joke, and then move on.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. I am currently investigating like the niche and the topic and things like that. And it has to be easy enough so that it can be riffed on, so we can just like bust it out. Hopefully weekly. So,
I would surmise that towards the top of the list of things that would get you banned on YouTube are in fact Nazi jokes. So that may or may not be a thing. I'm just saying.
well, dude, can I tell them what I sent you earlier today?
Feel free.
What?
You're the one saying it.
I have an idea. I have an idea.
I object to this idea.
You know what? You know what? Maybe I'll even wait until I put it on a T-shirt. I feel like I should wait until I put it on a T-shirt. So I'm gonna skip that. But MK says, just a reminder, it'll always come down to Godwin's law. I don't actually know what Godwin's law is.
Yeah, I do not know what that means.
What is Godwin's law, MK? Do I need to look this up? Hold on, let me look it up.
It's probably one of those things you've heard, you just don't remember. It's called.
I'm sure.
Godwin's law is the law. It basically states that every argument online eventually devolves into accusations of the other guy being a Nazi.
Yeah, fair enough.
Godwin's law, or Godwin's rule, short for Godwin's law of Nazi analogies, is an internet adage asserting as an online discussion grows longer, it's always about Nazis.
Yeah. Wait, that actually,
Otherwise known as reductio absurdum Hitlerum or something like that.
It's also known to be the oldest meme on the internet.
Oh.
Made by Mike Godwin. The meme meaning is to say the longer the online conversation continues.
Yeah, I've heard that before. I just didn't hear it referred to as that.
Yep. There you go.
I've heard that before, just not referred to as that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that's exactly what it was. It was something we've probably heard, just not referred to as that.
As a discussion on the internet grows longer, the likelihood of a person or persons being compared to Hitler or another Nazi increases. That means that as more people talk on the internet for a long time, it becomes more and more likely that someone will talk about Hitler or the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
Or just a random conversation with Avery and Todd.
Yeah, I was going to say it was Friday night. Come on.
Well, we used to have a travel game in which there was multiple versions of it, in which you picked out, one person would call out a character's name, and the other person would call out an artist who would be the best person to draw that character or whatnot. And the rule was, when you got down to the only artist you could think of was Rob Liefeld, the game was over.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
When a conversation on the internet gets to Nazis, the conversation's over.
Yeah. Well, I guess one of the reasons I'm so curious is because I kind of feel that that's very accurate. But to step it to another level is that at a certain point, everything has been so politicized now that you can't really talk about anything without talking about politics, right? That's kind of true. Everything, like even what we do in our passive nerd den thing on Friday nights, like at some point we're talking about it gets to a writer, and then we have to be like, yeah, he's just a nut. So and then you just kind of move on.
One of the problems with modern conversation is that if you say something and somebody thinks that's a political statement or a social statement or whatever, and they form opinions about you, and that was never your intent, that happens all the time too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about it, but what's the name of the American gymnast chick, the one that's really, really famous? The one who won all the golds.
I don't know.
Simone
Biles, yes. Well, she made a comment when they were asking her about her gold medals, and she said, yes, I was just doing a black job. And people were like, oh, she's dissing Trump. Yeah, she was. So.
Yeah, I know she was.
And it's like, why did you have to go there? Why did you have to throw a political statement into your conversation, That was something that was done on purpose, but other people will be like, "Oh, why did you have to do that?"
Right. Well, that's the thing. Everything has to be politicized. You know.
My father-in-law one time told me, he said, never openly discuss your politics, your religion, or your stance on social things, because as an entertainer and somebody who is trying to create comics is considered an entertainer, you will immediately turn off 50% of your audience.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what stance you take, you will turn off 50% of the people who enjoy your stuff and like your stuff. And a lot of
100%.
them will stop buying because of that.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why that would be why well, I learned the same thing. It was like never talk about religion or money or religion because everyone has an opinion, or religion or politics, something like that.
See, money I can see talking about. Money I can see talking about. That's fine, but politics, religion, and social things, and social things only within the last 10 years has become a thing. You know,
that's the famous Michael Jordan quote, right?
Yes.
Like you heard about this, I'm sure. Like some point, someone asked Michael Jordan like why he never talked about politics, and he said Republicans buy shoes too.
No, I'm pretty sure it was something about Nazis or white supremacists buy toothpaste too. Or maybe that's somebody else that said that.
That's somebody else.
Yeah.
No, there was your boy Zach mentioned. I think his whole thing was like Crest toothpaste doesn't choose their customers. Customers choose Crest. So like there are violent criminals who've done horrible, terrible things in prison that use Crest toothpaste.
Yes.
This doesn't make the company, it doesn't make Crest bad, and Crest isn't saying, well, we don't want the rapists to use our toothpaste.
Right.
Like they're still selling a product. They're just not, obviously they're not endorsing it.
Yeah. The murderer on death row gets whatever brand toothpaste, they don't
right.
Yeah.
sanction that person's actions. It's
yeah. But bottom line is, if you want to talk about politics, we can talk about politics. If you want to talk about religion or social stuff, we can do it privately, offline. It's not something that we need to broadcast to everybody and take a stance on with everybody, because we'll lose our audience, And the bottom line is, I know I'm right anyway, so why do we really need to discuss it?
Yeah. No, this is true. It is a true Druism.
Well, it's not even a Druism. It was something my father-in-law told me, and I'm pretty sure he heard it from somebody else.
Yeah. I mean,
there's a lot of really famous people that you have no clue what their political leanings are.
Mm-hmm.
They're not out there espousing their beliefs to everybody every single second of the day. Because believe it or not, there's a lot of them out there that are dumb as rocks, and they're out there saying one thing or another.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Alyssa Milano, man, I thought she was hot when she was younger. Now I realize she's just a brain dead twit.
Alyssa Milano. Yeah. No, I hear you. I understand. Alyssa Milano.
And I don't necessarily disagree with everything she says, but she's dumb as rocks. Anyway.
Sorry, I'm just enjoying someone mentioned Alyssa Milano on this little show of ours.
Now, have you ever had an actor or an artist or somebody that you really like their stuff, and they come out and they say something stupid, and you're like, oh, God dang it, why didn't you keep your mouth shut?
Literally all of them, yeah.
Literally
everybody I ever liked in the creative world.
Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
I'd just rather not know.
Yeah, that's not wrong.
And the only one that I give a pass to is Crazy Uncle Bill. And that's because in my mind, he's just a crazy Uncle Bill. I give him a pass because of that.
because he
But he
because
said
he's,
he said a lot of dumbass stuff.
yeah, he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, my humble opinion.
Richard says, "Shut up, Wesley."
Shut up, Wesley. Yeah.
All right, I'll
No.
shut up again. I'll become Zach again and go mute.
No, you don't have to go. You don't have. You're gonna become Zach.
You need
Oh,
to
God.
Zach again.
Only chime in when I have something important to say.
You are. We're having a good conversation.
I have plenty to say. It's just that you're on a roll. And I didn't want to interrupt.
No, you're doing fine. Shut up, Wesley is not directed at you, right, Andrew?
What's that?
Shut up, Wesley is not directed at you.
Yeah, isn't that a that's a meme of some type, right?
Yes,
It's-
what's his name? Plays Wesley on Star Trek.
Yes. There are some memes I'm familiar with. The fat guy on the roller skates, that was good. That was a good one. Adrian.
Yeah. See, you'd never seen that.
I never saw that one.
That guy's epic.
That's the kind of guy we need to do to make our videos.
All right, well,
Those
I got
private videos.
I got some stuff to show and to discuss. If
Yeah, show it.
it's getting
We
late.
got 15 minutes. Show it to us. This is the Zach time.
All right, guys, be careful. I'm about to bend over and expose myself on camera.
Goatee. Great.
By the way, Avery, did I mention that the person that was willing to do the videos lives in Daytona?
Shut up, Wesley.
Star Trek the next generation.
Although Drew, Andrew, the fact that the guy's living in Daytona.
No, he doesn't.
Well, if he is, it would not. I mean, it would give a little bit of hometown pride in that regard, because this town is full of some really strange people. Well, at
Oh,
least-
I know.
All right. Well, I got some news for you guys. I am going to Japan in the second half of November.
Awesome, man.
Awesome.
I'm going to go see my mother. So if there's anything pop culture comic related you want me to get or look around or investigate, please let me know beforehand, because I have 2 weeks to kill. And I can't spend them all with my mother, even though I really will. Although I'm going to spend most of them with her, because I really miss the old lady. And she's the most awesome one I've ever known. But that's true every day. So
Now, is this a trip for business, pleasure, or
it's to see my mother and
okay?
basically to take the first vacation I've had in about 10 years.
Okay. So it's not like somebody's dying right now.
No, that was 2020, 2021 when I went to Japan in the middle of the fucking pandemic.
Okay.
And I'll tell
Oh,
you,
so you were the one that brought it back. Oh, thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it's all part of a Secret Dastardly fan to cull the week.
Good. I support this.
All right, I'm presenting.
Yeah, go present.
All right. Practicing my passive aggressive approach, because I know that's a way to get stuff done nowadays. You know, the world we're in. All right, share my screen, okay?
Okay.
Bastard. All right. Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, can you?
There you go.
There we go. Can you present me?
Yep, you're presented.
All right. Okay. So a couple weeks ago, last week, and I think I can take this step to you. I took a trip up to the lovely college town of DeLand, home of Stetson University. There's a place there called
Wait.
College Bucks. Do you see my? Does anybody?
Are you trying to show? Is this going to be
Can
you
shoot-
popping
Yeah.
on?
Oh, I forgot to turn my camera off. Sorry. There we go.
Okay, yeah. You don't have to share. Okay, never mind. It's
All right.
okay.
Yeah. Can you? Sorry, man. I'm a little punchy right now. Thank you.
You're good. You're good. Yeah.
All right, so I was in the beautiful town of Stetson. DeLand. DeLand. There's a place there called Carl's Books or Carl's Bookstore. I think I texted it to you. If you're ever in DeLand, check it out. The place is fucking awesome, especially for guys my age. It's like it's like a walk back into all the really cool parts of your childhood.
Mm.
So, and I found among other things, I found this.
Oh, that's awesome.
I actually haven't read it yet.
It looks like it's in good condition too.
It's in very good condition, actually, near mint. It's I mean, it's a little battered, but it's actually a little worn out. But
Yeah, it looks great. Oh, look at those colors. So cool.
it's like $5.95. The original price. Came out in '81.
Wow.
Oh, this is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, that's gorgeous. That was taken care of too. That book was really nice.
Yeah,
Very
well,
cool.
there's the guy there has like a whole box of old Marvel graphic novels, so like the original ones from the '80s.
That's some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super good.
Yeah.
P. Craig Russell was the fucking man.
Yeah. They kind of had to cut down on some of the more weird stuff in the original books, because it's Michael Moorcock's a bit of a acquired taste in a lot of ways. He's kind of like the Frank Zappa of fantasy fiction. Not a lot of people have heard of him nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Those tend to be other writers.
Mm.
And he's also one of the, basically, you can see his fingerprints on everything from Game of Thrones to, pretty much anything that's like sci-fi. That's been operating in the sci-fi fantasy space for the last, 30 years maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the one that Andrew sent me, the number 2, which I actually haven't read yet, Andrew. And this is the number 3 version that I bought at the same time.
Mm.
I like the cover. This is like classic Conan. Big.
Yeah, I love those painted covers. They're so good.
It's by Gary Nord, I think. We'll show you in a sec. But I was really, really disappointed with the interior art. I mean, cover is by. Doesn't say. Oh, wrong page. Oh, here we are. Frank. Doesn't say. Although that's probably in there somewhere. I just don't know where to look. But yeah. So this is the art that they got. A guy by name Gary Nord.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly,
this is modern. Gary Nord's a newer guy.
Oh wait, no. This is the. I actually haven't. Yeah, this is the one I haven't read. Yeah, actually, this is the one I haven't read. This is
Gary Nord did the art for Conan for Dark Horse for a chunk.
Yeah, I mean this art I like. I mean this art is.
That looks cool.
It feels like Conan to me. But the one that you sent me, the number 2, that didn't turn out so well. I didn't like that, and I'll show you why in a sec. All right.
And this is the new Conan, Savage Sword of Conan, the magazine that they're putting out.
Yeah.
So y'all know.
I mean,
this is the new one.
Yeah, this is the new one. This is the one that's being put out by
Titan, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. They Marvel lost the rights. Basically the rights for I think the rights for like the comic book and game rights and movie rights for Conan the Barbarian are like the actual stories and characters are now in public domain, but like the books and movie versions are still copyrighted for the same people. It's the same people who run the Age of Conan MMO.
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't like the art for this. This is like Richard Pace.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is like, yeah, this is not this just feels like amateur hour. I mean, it's basically like it's they would have done better just to stick to the original pencils, because the ink job on this is just terrible.
Yeah, did Richard Pace draw it and ink it, or did he ink it?
Let me check. Because the story's good, but the art is just terrible.
Yeah, I don't care for Richard
The
Pace.
writer Jim
Yeah.
and artist Richard Pace doesn't say who the inker.
Yeah, he drew
I'm
both
looking
of
in the
them.
right spot.
Yeah, Richard Pace is kind of a not good person.
Well, he's definitely not a good artist for Conan.
No, he's not a good artist. Yeah.
So I mean, if I don't really care about his personal life. I mean, or was he an ass? It's just general asshole, or
No, he's a
A dirtbag.
he's a
Sex
dirtbag. Yeah.
Like he took money for a crowdfunding campaign years ago and still hasn't.
no.
He says that he's one of those guys that likes to go online and say really not nice things about people for no reason other than to like really bother people. You know. So.
He's a troll, basically.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that, but I wasn't a fan of the art. I thought this was like, I mean, like, look at this. I mean, it's just like,
Yeah.
it's just black. It's just, splotches of ink. You know what I mean? And like this. I mean, this is like, there's no detail. There's no life to it. It's just, it feels like something that I would have drawn back when I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
When I was like, for 5 minutes, I thought I wanted to be a comic artist.
Right.
This guy also has a whole box full of Frazetta prints.
Now that's cool.
That is very cool. You couldn't get away with that today. I mean, actually, you probably could, but the Conan would have to be wearing a skirt, and the young lady down there would have like a I don't know, indeterminate gender.
Mm.
Because apparently, good old fashioned sex is bad. And last but not least, and this is something I actually found, not a comic book. I'm probably gonna dig into this over the weekend after getting myself really, really drunk.
That's actually looking pretty cool. Yeah, that's cool.
People don't know how to do people. All right. And of course, then there's Killer. So this is like a more, well, not really recent, but recenter.
Yeah.
And then you got this.
Classic, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, I like vinyl. I mean, mostly I like the fact that I can. I like the fact that there's actually well. I mean, the sound quality. I'm not really sold on it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the fact that I can actually hold it.
Yeah, well, I actually just saw an article today that apparently for the Gen X kids, or Gen Z kids, they are getting into cassette tapes.
Oh. Well, the thing
Like,
is,
like they're starting to collect cassette tapes, but they're like challenged because they don't know how it works, and it's like really. They say it's well, I gotta meet you, buddy. They say it's like really hard to like find the song you want and stuff. Because they've never had to do that. They always just selected the song they wanted. They've never had to like not have control over.
They've never had to fast forward and rewind.
Right. They've never had to do that.
Not to
And so
mention,
it's a unique thing.
mildew can destroy them. Sometimes they just break.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah,
cassette deck will eat your favorite tape.
Yeah, dude. And MK says, "Glad I didn't throw my cassette tapes out." Yeah, for real. I'm sure that's going to be the next collectible thing. I've got a copy of Garage Days from Metallica that I've had. I've got a bunch of tapes. I have the demo to Guns N' Roses. I have their demo tape. I got way back in the day.
Oh, did you get that from me or Justin Morgan? Because I got mine.
I think I got it from Justin Morgan. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got it from.
I'm a big fan of Bandcamp, so I'm
Yeah.
always like buying the MP3s for really obscure bands.
Yeah.
I mean,
It had like the very first version of November Rain on it.
Yeah.
Some other show.
Oh, and speaking of nostalgia, I've also started to rewatch Babylon 5. It's on Tubi.
How's that? Yeah.
It's
The,
some of it is aged well. I mean, the effects obviously haven't because with like early
No.
90s CGI, but
no, but once you make it through the slog that is the first season, it's
yeah,
really-
I'm still going through the first season, but
yeah. The first season of that show can really turn you off because it's kind of boring. But after that, it starts to pick up and get good.
well,
And then eventually, in the last couple seasons, there's payoff for that slog.
Mm.
the thing is, I mean, look, for me, it's a nostalgia trip. I mean, it's part of it's just pure cheese. I mean, even back in the '90s, you could tell, this is definitely not Star Trek. Although apparently, although I've read that if you look at a lot of the costumes, they're like they preserve a lot of the costumes. If you see them in real life, they're actually beautiful. I guess it's just that the quality of the video back then, you didn't really get the full effect. I mean, if it was high def, it would probably look very, very different.
Yeah.
But I watched. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's what I like about Babylon 5 is that J. Michael Straczynski. I always thought he should have moved on to bigger and better things after that. I mean, he definitely had the storytelling chop. He's still stuck in the comic trenches. Or is that just me? Or am I thinking of the wrong guy? The guy.
He did comics.
Yeah, he does comics. He's still basically a writer for hire. I mean, I thought at the very least, he would have gone on to become someone like Ron Moore, but no. I mean, they did Babylon 5. It was interesting. What I like about it though is that it was like really the first show that along with Star Trek DS9, but it did it better. That it wasn't just like the monster and episode of the week.
Yeah.
There was actually an arc to it that.
Yeah, he originally pitched it as a Star Trek show, from what I heard, and they just ripped it off for Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, well, I mean, Deep Space. I mean, look, I'll be honest, and this is gonna be heretical to a lot of old school Trekkies, and if Melissa hears this, I apologize. Todd, I think DS9 is the best Star Trek series ever. Better than TNG. Because I always thought that the Star Trek universe, as which is basically like fully automated luxury communism in practice, I always thought that was dumb. Because you can't tell a story there. I mean, there's actually a documentary called Trouble on the Bridge. It's actually it was actually made by William Shatner, but it's about the first 2 seasons of TNG. Shatner narrated it and interviewed all the people. And the problem they had is that Roddenberry was so into his world that the writers said he basically told the writers there can't be any conflict. You can't write without conflict because you have no focus of the story. They had to basically work around them a lot of times. And I liked DS9 because it was gritty, and there was there was real hardship in it. It didn't feel like it didn't feel like TNG where everything was so clean. I mean, like my favorite TNG episodes were the ones where the Klingons were around because the Klingons actually were interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But but I like Babylon 5. I liked it better because they're at for lack of a better term, the universe felt more real. Yes, it was cheesy, but there was a sense to it that that it logically it made sense logically on its own. And I think that
you had all these alien races and they all hated each other.
Yeah, it wasn't and it wasn't all like clear black and white. There actually were shades of gray, lots of shades of gray. There actually was a series called Shades of Gray.
Oh yeah. I mean, you had Malari and Jakar eventually become friends and respect each other.
Yeah,
but eventually, well,
you
know what has to be happens. And
well, the thing is, though, is that apparently there was talk about them. There actually was a plan for a reboot of B5 on the CW, but I read somewhere that it's not happening for which I'm eternally grateful. Because can you imagine Babylon 5 as a CW show?
They'd ruin it in a heartbeat.
It'd be like, okay, everybody's going to be gay or lesbian or transgender, and they're all going to look perfect, and there's not going to be a speck of dirt on anything.
Yeah, that show was good. The storyline for that show was really
I
good.
mean,
All that first season, to anybody who's never seen it, is a slog. That first season, making it through it,
no, there are a few good episodes in there. I mean, but
mostly it's a slog. But the payoff later in future seasons is good.
I mean, I think the best thing they did. I mean, the one thing the only few gripes I have. Well, I have a lot of. First, aside from the general cheesiness, which honestly is just more of a factor of probably the budget they had. I mean,
I can overlook all of that. I can overlook.
I mean, all the work is that they had Claudia Christian playing, a Russian. Yeah, it's like Russian by way of Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I think the later seasons they kind of like got past that. But no, if they would do it today, I think they'd have to cast like an actual Slavic actress, because otherwise people would just, they never get away with it.
They'd never get over it. Well, excuse me. MK actually has a really good question. He says, speaking of Drew, with the new Crow movie coming out, what is the best timing if you were selling Crow comics or artwork, etc.? We've talked about comic best sale times when they were doing movies, like in the past. He says, I have a signed James O'Barr. It was a gift, but never was my thing.
Well, to be honest with you, some things it's best to sell before a movie comes out. Some things it's best to sell afterwards. The Crow is probably something best to sell before the movie comes out, because the same thing I was telling people, if you're holding on to She-Hulk books waiting for the TV show to start, get rid of them before the show started, because the preview looks stupid and the prices dropped. Same thing with Eternals. Did the same exact thing. Now, the only thing that's actually gone up in value, or that more people are looking for, like Deadpool. But Deadpool's always been popular, so it really doesn't. The movie didn't really matter.
Yeah.
I actually had somebody coming in looking for Umbrella Academy stuff recently, and I had one issue of it to share, and they bought it. But I don't know if you guys saw that last season, but it was not good.
No, I gave up on it. I got rid of Netflix a while ago.
We watched the whole thing, and then when the series was over, it was only 6 episodes. When the series was over, I kind of turned to the wife and said, what the hell happened? Because I fell asleep through a lot of it.
Was that bad?
Yep.
Wow.
Like Black Widow bad?
Black Widow wasn't bad.
I never made it. I tried to watch that movie twice and couldn't make it through it.
Hey, Andrew.
Yeah.
It was boring.
Did the series end before or after Ellen/Elliot Page went through a transition?
Oh no, that was the second season.
Oh Jesus!
No, she became Victor.
Of course she did.
And she looked bad. For a guy, she looked really bad in this last season. I mean, her face, it's just ugh. I don't know if her intention was to look like an ugly guy, but that's exactly what happened.
MK says, where would you recommend I do that to sell it? He wants to sell it. Do you think like eBay? Would it be an eBay thing, or would it be
possibly? Yeah. I mean, I don't have anybody looking for O'Barr stuff or Crow stuff right now. Nobody's come in and said, hey, looking for anything. So it's kind of a niche thing. So your best bet, if you wanted to sell something, is to sell it to present it to the widest audience. And eBay is one of those things, but you also have to consider shipping and all that other kind of crap. Honestly, if I had something Crow related that could be cool, I'd hold it until the next reboot. Maybe they get it right the next time. This time's not it.
That could be like years down the road.
Could be, yeah.
All right.
But if you have something you just want to get rid of, yeah.
Can I ask you guys something? I want your honest opinion as creatives on something. So, do you think, and also people in the chat as well. So, do you think that a bad movie or TV adaptation of a property ruins the property as a whole, or does the property remain untouched? So, like the Crow, like you said, we're talking about the Crow. Now, obviously, none of us have seen the movie yet, and it could be the movie's going to be very good. They just had a bad editor cut the trailer. But judging from the trailer, the movie's down arrival. Now, does that now? Would that? Did you think that's at the broader Crow franchise? Let's be honest. Aside from the first, aside from the comic book and the first movie, hasn't exactly covered itself in glory. Do you think that harms the value of the brand as a whole, or can the brand remain separate? So again, or for example, like Lord of the Rings, for example, Rings of Power, which is not a good show. It's not the total disaster everyone makes it out to be. It's just not. It's just substandard. It's basically a generic fantasy show with with some paint thrown on it. Lord of the Rings paint thrown on it, or I don't know if you ever read the Wheel of Time series, but the TV show for that is an atrocity. And I get the feeling for a lot of people that for a lot of the fans that it kind of ruined the whole franchise for them, because even though the books are completely different, it has that brand on it. So what do you think? I mean, do you think that if you take like a beloved property, be it a game, and there have been a lot of really shitty adaptations of video games, like Borderlands, for example, which is it's basically a corpse, terrible from what I've heard. Do you think that it's going to affect the Borderlands brand? So what do you think, guys?
Well, let me ask you the question. If they put out a show set in the Lord of the Rings universe and it's a crappy ass show, does that mean your enjoyment of the first three movies or the three Hobbit movies or reading the books, does that diminish that at all?
Well, see, there's
in any way.
Well, me personally, no, but there's a caveat to that, because if you're already a fan of the original property, you're kind of insulated from that because you've essentially been inoculated by reading the original great stuff first. But looking at it from say someone who wants to like his stuff,
it does hurt the audience when it comes to the general population.
Yeah, so
it does.
So the Gen Pop who may have heard of it but may not have read the books, comic books, played the games, like say Borderlands, for example. If all you knew about Borderlands was that there was a game, there was something called Borderlands and there was a movie based on it. You saw the movie and it sucked. Would that
you wouldn't buy the game then?
Yeah.
So what you're literally asking is, if a person who's not a fan right now sees the movie, doesn't like it, and is no longer a fan, it's not going to hurt the brand at all because they were never a fan to begin with. Todd, if they made a third Sin City movie and it sucked ass, would you burn all of your original graphic novels, Sin City graphic novels?
Of course I would.
You would not. Shut up. No, you would not. You would not. It's the way the question is being asked is, does it hurt? Well, it kind of does when it comes to new people. But you know what? Those new people weren't long-standing fans to begin with, so you don't lose anything by putting out shit. You don't,
It cools off the property for future stuff, expansions into other markets. It damages bringing in new people to it. Because I don't think it affects the core hardcore audience much.
It does not affect them at all. It's like they're talking about doing a whole reboot of the Harry Potter movies. If they do and they suck, that's not going to change a single Harry Potter fan who read the original books and enjoyed the original movies.
It's about what the difference then is between existing fans and new fans.
Yeah, because if your goal, if let's say you're the not necessarily the creator of the franchise, but the people who inherited or are running it, like I guess Star Wars is a good example of this. Because guys our age, we grew up watching the original series. In my case, I was a big fan of the
Yeah.
expanded universe.
Oh yeah. Now with Star Wars, they deliberately are driving the old fans out. They're
Yeah.
straight up telling us to F off.
Because I recently reread the Heir to the Empire series that
So yeah,
he wrote.
I don't consume any new Star Wars stuff at all, even the old stuff, because they don't even want to sell it to me. The movies I grew up watching.
There are some of the old Legends novels, are still available, but like not all of them. I mean, but although you can find them.
I could care less about novels. The original movies, they will not sell me a copy that I can watch on modern devices. They won't do it. So they flat out don't want me at all.
Or Todd.
We were told, all original fans were told to leave.
Well, they succeeded, and Star Wars is dying. So, Todd, I mean, what about Star Trek? I mean, so again, the original series, and then TNG. I mean, I think there's like, honestly, there used to be a divide between like old Star Trek, new Star Trek. That's kind of older because most of the old Star Trek fans are basically dead at this point because it's been so long.
Right.
But, Todd, as someone who's got some exposure to this, at least secondhand, do you think that the just the substandard product that's been put out over the last 15 years? I mean, if you weren't already a hardcore Trekkie, you were sort of casually familiar with it. Maybe you saw maybe as a child you were around when like DS9 or Voyager or Enterprise was kicking around. Mm-hmm. You watched it a little bit. You were aware of the characters, but you weren't like super into it. And then you came in and you saw the alternative, the ones with the new cast, with like Chris Pine as Kirk, which I thought was actually pretty good. It was an interesting take on it, but it was obviously not gonna. It was obviously more of a goof than anything else. And then you saw, Picard and the other shitty stuff they put out, and just all the nonsense. Would that help you? Would that help you or hurt you? It's just as a casual who, knew a little bit about it, be interested, but not enough to look to know what's good and what was bad.
If I was brand new to it and I had never seen it before, or I'd never I'd be like, oh yeah, I think my friend likes that. I might go see it, and what ends up happening, I think, is what Avery and Andrew both said. It's like if you've already established yourself as a fan, I don't think it's that bad, because what ends up happening is you're like, oh well, that's not the real thing, and I know the real thing, and they just didn't do a good job. If you're a brand new fan, you're someone who's never seen the property before, I think it absolutely affects it, and you're just like, wow, okay, well this isn't for me, right? And I've had a lot of friends. I had a lot of friends that in high school, with comics and toys and Star Wars, were just like, nah, that stuff's not for me. I don't know, it's just kind of gay. It's like, it's just not really, it's not cool. I'm into graffiti and skateboarding, and now all of those dudes are into it. They're all into it. They're all collecting old school comics. They're all collecting old school toys. And I think part of the reason for that is that somewhere along the line, they finally saw or read or played something that piqued their interest in the right way. So something finally cracked the code for them, where they were like, oh, this actually is really cool. And it's just a matter of time.
I think also if it's a property that's been around for a while and doesn't just have a fan base, but has like I guess enough like cultural capital built up to it that it could sort of ride out the bad times. Like people are still playing Dungeons and Dragons, even though like every attempt to like move into the movie field is kind of flamed out. I mean, there was the God Awful movie in 2000 and the one that came out last year, which I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't like terrible, but it flopped. Sneeze. But D&D is still being played. I mean, honestly, I think they're probably the biggest threat to D&D right now is just the fact that people are playing online more than actually playing in person, which I think is going to kill the hobby over long term, because you know, you might as well just be playing a regular MMO at that point. But
Right.
but on the other hand, like take something like, you know, like we have all these video game adaptations or manga adaptations, and you know, like for example, like we'll take something like Cowboy Bebop, which is to my mind the greatest, and one perhaps along with Akira is probably one of the greatest animes ever made.
100%.
I mean, but then they, you know, and I think there's a Japanese live action version, but no one outside Japan knows about that. Then there's the one they did on Netflix, which was just fucking awful. I mean,
Oh, did that actually come out? I never saw it. I remember they were making it, but I never heard them launch it.
came out and it dropped like a stone. Apparently, like basically like there was like a literal like an online mass revolt of all the fans. But the thing is, I don't know. I mean, if you're not really literate in anime, and all you know about Cowboy Bebop is the movie is the live action Netflix version, which was just terrible.
Yeah.
Would that would probably kill any interest you would have in the original anime, which is just utterly sublime.
Unless you had a friend that was like, no, this is the thing you need to watch.
I mean,
Right? Unless you had a friend who was like, no, really, it's good. Go check this other thing out.
we like take like OneNote, which was a hit for Netflix, the live action English language version. And by the way, I got a problem with that one.
You mean One Piece?
One Piece. I always call it OneNote. I don't know why.
It was because it's like One Piece and Death Note.
Yeah, so they have One Piece, and that was a hit, and that definitely boosted interest in that because, you know, obviously sales of the original manga went up. So obviously, getting the adaptation right is good for the property. But what if they botched it? Do you think it would have hurt the franchise? I mean, it might well have stalled it. I mean, the original fans would be there, but you know, the broader public would.
It can stall the expansion of the brand.
Yeah. Now, the problem I have with, and this is just a little bit of like cultural chauvinism in me. I kind of cringe when I hear about English language adaptations of Japanese manga. It just feels like, yeah, I hate to use the term cultural appropriation because, you know, that's like a woke term, and like, but it just kind of like makes me cringe. It's like those old Soviet Union cowboy movies that they used to make back in the day, or, you know, French language cowboy comics like you know, Baby Blue or whatever it's called. You know, or, you know, Blueberry. That's what it's called, Blueberry.
Mm-hmm.
And I can read it, but it's kind of like hearing Shakespeare in Klingon. You get the gist, but it just feels wrong.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, or maybe it's just like the Japanese, my Japanese ancestry, which is kind of like, you know, unhappy about it.
The thing is, the Italians and the French are the only people making Western comics anymore.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and, you know, the whole spaghetti westerns, which were actually originally in Italian. You know, if you watch like, you know, Fistful of Dollars.
Yeah, the actors spoke whatever language.
Well, that's actually pretty common in Europe, actually.
Yeah, they did their lines in whatever language or wherever they were from.
Yeah, so like East would be in English, and his lips would match the actual, you know, text. But then you see, you know, the Italian actors, and yeah, I don't know. It just I guess the best way I could describe it is if someone did like a live action remake of Star Wars in Turkish, which actually happened, by the way. Someone in Turkey actually did that.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it was apparently really, really bad. I mean, like,
yeah.
I mean, it's right on the level of like the Star Wars Holiday Special bad. You know, the bad in the version that George Lucas will have bought up every single copy ever. You know, basically seal them in a cask filled with holy water and holy water and acid, and like 50 feet, about 50 feet under 50 feet of concrete in the middle of nowhere. Bad.
Right.
At the bottom of the ocean. Bad.
Right. E.T. bad.
Well, E.T.
The game.
Yeah. Oh, did you ever see the documentary of people like digging that up?
Yeah, it's really an interesting documentary. I thought it was fascinating.
All right, so that's my intellectual contribution for today.
Well, awesome, man. This was good. Everyone, I love it, man. It was a good call today. It was a good show. So we give it a shout out. Anybody want to pitch anything, Andrew?
Did anybody watch Batman: The Cape Crusader?
I have not.
Okay.
Is it good? Well, just I mean, I don't have access to it, so like, is it good? Do you like it?
I watched all 10 episodes with the wife, and
Mhm.
there was a lot more that I liked about it that I didn't like about it.
Okay.
So there was enough where if they do a second season, I'm down. I'm all for it. I want to
Now,
see.
was there anything in it that was like, because is it on Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do have access. I could watch it. But like, is there anything in there that's like that would make it? Because usually when things are on Amazon, especially things that used to be on TV, they'll put something in there or scenes that are like, oh, this would never get past the censors back in the day, like that kind of stuff.
Something that never happened in the Batman the Animated Series. I mean, very rarely did you ever see it. If it ever happened, was people dying,
Mhm.
people getting killed. That
Mhm.
happened in this series. It was interesting. I enjoyed it. They changed a lot of things, and some of the changes didn't bother me at all. Others were like, but then some of them didn't bother me at all.
Okay.
And my all-time favorite character, I know I've told you guys this before, is Barbara Gordon. They changed her immensely, but there's seeds of a better character there.
Oh, good. Okay, fair
So
enough.
I look.
Well, that's a plus.
Yeah, her role is completely different than what her role is in any of the other versions of Batman. She's an attorney.
Oh, interesting.
She's and she's defending criminals, and there's a two-parter with Two-Face in it, and she's helping Two-Face and trying to help him, and but there's images of she's potentially going to be the hero that I'm looking forward to her being. So I mean, there's a lot that I liked. There's a lot that I liked.
Okay, I think that's completely legitimate. That's awesome.
I'd love to go into more detail, but that would be if somebody else watched it and wants to talk about it. I don't want to be the only person talking about it, so that's why
I know. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So
yeah, it's on my list. I do have access to it. I have Amazon, so I'll have to check it out so we can talk about it. Cool. I love Bruce Timm. I think he's a phenomenal. Like if he has a good team behind him, the animation is going to be top notch.
So. Well, Ed Brubaker was involved with this and writing it. Matt Reeves was involved in producing it. Same thing with J.J. Abrams. So a lot of big names were involved in this. So if you take it as a Elseworlds Batman story where it's in a different world where things are different, you might enjoy it more. Try not to think of it as this is his origin, this is his history, because it's not the Batman that you and I know.
If you do that, then you won't be happy.
You won't be happy. But if you take it as like this is an Elseworlds, this is a different trajectory of Batman. The characters are different. I mean, you guys know about the female Penguin, right?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, that did not bother me at all, because the way the character is portrayed at the very beginning, she's all flirty and she's like a cabaret singer, and you're like, oh, cringe. And then she gets damn vicious. And you're like, that's the Penguin. That's the Penguin we all enjoy. That vicious, evil person.
Which, by the way, one of my all-time favorite Penguin stories is the one written and drawn. I think it was written and drawn by Jason Pearson.
I don't think it was written. I know it was drawn.
You definitely drew it. Yeah, the drawing. Oh God.
Yeah,
that was a great book.
and he was nasty. And believe it or not, this penguin has a nasty side.
Okay.
So, yep.
Yep,
That's why it
well,
didn't bother me as much. So,
fair enough. So you were able to kind of separate.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, cool.
We'll watch it and we'll talk about it.
We will. It's a great episode, great show, guys. Happy Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah. You're gonna have a good weekend. Everyone gonna have a good weekend.
Looking forward to seeing
Hope
comics.
so. Yeah, man. I can't wait. I'm gonna tear through this Batman Year One. And
going to be sitting on a beach with a fishing rod in one hand and a cold, I won't say what's in it kind of drink on the other.
Oh, just wasting your life.
Well, to quote Jimmy Buffett, I work hard to have time to waste.
have a great weekend, MK.
Later,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you for showing out, everybody. Thank you for showing up. Rich, also, everybody. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. And with that, we will see you next week. So have a great weekend. See you soon.